Hello and welcome into the KE Report. I'm your host, Shad Markwitz, and we're getting an update today on First Nordic Metals, traded on the TSX.V under the ticker FNM and on the OTCQB under the ticker FNMCF. And we're joined today with Taj Singh, President and CEO, and Adam Cegielski, Chief Development Officer of First Nordic Metals. And gentlemen, it's great to have you on the show. Adam, I want to kick things off with just a recap of what's going on with the capital raise. You put out some news on October 30th that you have a $10 million Canadian bought deal private placement underway. I think a lot of people would be interested to see where the funds are going, and just it's encouraging that you're able to raise capital in a tough market. So walk us through the details of the capital raise and, more importantly, where those funds are going to be going.
Shad, thanks for having us, and good to connect. We haven't spoken in a bit. Yeah, timing is everything, and we had a gold price that was moving up to $2,800. We had the election coming, and we've been resistant to take money along the way, cognizant of dilution, and we had the incentive warrants that came in the summer. So the timing just seemed right, and we were able to align some of our longest standing shareholders, some new institutions, and obviously the new banking relationship with Haywood. And we announced our $10 million bought deal that will be closing on November 26th. And again, it brings in some new and existing shareholders, which is always great to see. I think what's important to know also is, we did turn down more money because we avoided using any of the sort of free trading life financing type opportunities. We were offered more, and we could have probably taken another 5 or maybe substantially more, but that was not part of our strategy. We've got a lot coming together here over the next 3-4 months. We have a new listing on the NASDAQ First North that we're working towards that I think will be done sort of early next year. So we wanted a 4-month hold financing. All of our shareholders were excited about that, and I think the terms are great, and I think the timing was well done. So we will be closing that, and now this sets us up obviously to materially advance our 100% owned projects, and also just puts us and our team into a very strong position going into 2025.
All right. Yeah, it's nice to see that. And it's nice to see fiscal discipline, that you were offered more funds, but wasn't part of the larger strategy. And I think that people will like hearing that too, Adam. Taj, I want to bring you in on this basically 100-kilometer mineralized trend that you have in Sweden. And just, we were talking about it again in our last interview, but just how huge this is as far as a land package, but that you have multiple targets going on here. And we've talked in the past, for those listening in not familiar with the project, they do have the Barsele project that's in a JV with Agnico Eagle, millions of ounces of gold already defined there. But I think what's perking up the market's ears is the fact that you have these other targets that you've been making a go of it with, as far as Paubäcken, Storjuktan, and now even Klippen. Let's start with Paubäcken because it's got a little bit more exploration history behind it. There's 2 key targets on there, the Iada target and the Harpsen target. Could you walk us through some of the historic work the team's already done and some of the work that's underway at Paubäcken?
Sure. Thanks, Shad. Thanks for having us. And yeah, listen, I think an important thing to note just before I go into the targets is this is a belt that's seen a lot of work. It's not moose pasture. There's already gold deposits defined on it. There's a neighboring belt that has about 50 different discoveries on it, 30 kind of historic/active mines. Like, this is mining country. And even on the belt we're on, there's been multiple discoveries and multiple deposits drilled out. And these targets we have continue to tick the boxes. We approach all of our targets in a systematic way: geophysics, geochemistry, base of till drilling, and then move to diamond drilling. And the exciting thing is, for 3 of the targets here, even 4 maybe, we're almost ready for diamond drilling. We've ticked off all the boxes, and they continue to show a lot of similarities to what we have at Barsele, which is always good. So in Paubäcken, you've got the Aida target that's in the south. That was a discovery made a couple of years ago by Goldline, and just really never followed up on the amount of work that needed to be done on it. Wasn't done because the markets were difficult. A lot of things were happening, but this is a project that's about a 4.5-kilometer corridor. So that's actually larger in size than Barsele's footprint. And we've already moved to the stage of, we've done geochemistry. We've now moved to the stage of base of till drilling, and you're getting outstanding numbers. Like what you definitely say, we need to drill right under these, right? You're 0.1 to 0.2 ppm of base of till drilling, again, just into the top of the bedrock, gets you excited. We got to get ready. I mean, we're hitting over 1 gram, 2 grams, 5 grams per ton down the middle of the corridor. So this is ready for diamond drilling. We need to finish base of till drilling on the rest of the corridor here. It's another 100 to 150 holes. Then the whole corridor will kind of be defined, and we'll figure out where to diamond drill for Q1 next year. So that's the most advanced target that we have right now, and we're really excited. The early days discovery was the 22.5 meters of 2.4 gram per ton. That's a fantastic hole, just again, never followed up on, just below surface, and actually very much in line with Barsele's early discovery holes. So, we're very excited about Aida.
Well, Adam, you're very familiar with the Paubäcken target and the whole project, having worked on it as Goldline. Anything else you'd add about the prospectivity of Paubäcken?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it looks to be some sort of northern extension from an open pit that was mined out. Having been there many times, we were there a few weeks ago, actually, with our team. You're 4 kilometers away from a processing facility, and there's hundreds of thousands of ounces that have been mined out just downtrend. So completely underexplored. Brand new discovery at the time was, a new discovery in a new area, which was really exciting. 22.5 meters of 2.5 grams on your third drill hole and only 1,100 meters of drilling. I mean, I've been waiting to drill this out for years. This was the target, I think, that really got Taj and his team excited about joining Goldline originally. So to now be funded and to be attacking that target and demonstrating to Agnico that we're creating value on our 100% owned projects, it's great for everybody. It's great for our relationship with Agnico. It's great for our shareholders. And most importantly, it starts to bring more serious drilling and excitement into our market, which we're getting zero value for these assets in our valuation today. So I think this is going to be an opportunity to create more blue sky dreaming. And, we're going to be very busy in 2025, starting with this target.
Shad, Taj here again. While we're on Paubäcken, I just also wanted to note a completely separate and distinct target, very similar in size, called the Harpson target, which is about 5 or 8 kilometers so north of the Aida target. It's probably a few months behind Aida. It's got full geochemistry done on it, showing a very intense geochemical signature, which is extremely similar to what we see at Barsele. You're talking about a 5.5 kilometer footprint coming right off of the main first order structure. Like everything is lining up in terms of geophysics, geochemistry. The next stage on this is bot drilling, base of till drilling of about 200 holes or so. And again, this bot drilling, just to put it in context, is about $1,000 a hole. So a very low cost way of helping yourself during diamond drilling. But we'll get that done, and then this will be the next target to follow after Aida for diamond drill program. And we're hoping for anywhere between 5,000 to 10,000 meters at Harpsund and likely 10,000 or more at Aida. But again, a lot of this will be based on success and moving through the phases of drilling.
Appreciate that extra color on the Harpson target. So we'll follow along with both the Aida target and Harpson target to see how the drilling goes after so much ground truthing and different surveys laying the data on top of each other. It's going to be exciting to see the drill bit turn on both targets. Taj, I got another one for you though here. Storjuktan. This is another project area that you guys are excited to advance towards drill targets. You've already done some base of till surveys there as well. And you note in a press release that came out in September that this NIPAS target, if I'm saying that correctly, is one that the team is focused on, but really that 90% of this area hasn't been explored at all, and it's got a big geophysical footprint. So maybe walk us through the potential at Storjuktan.
Yeah, Storjuktan. So now we're going on the other side of Barsele. Paubäcken is contiguous to the south of Barsele, the Paubäcken set of claims, and then the Storjuktan set of claims right now is one screaming target, which is NIPAS, and I think we're probably going to find several more as we continue our work, as you alluded to. But the one target right now is NIPAS. There was some historic work done there, not a lot, but a little bit of historic work done there. So we focused right away on that in terms of doing geochemistry. And boom, 5 kilometer intense geochem anomaly already outlined. That will now need base of till drilling and then move that towards diamond drilling for next year. And yeah, again, 5,000 to 10,000 meters already on that NIPAS target. But even maybe more exciting is the fact that exactly the Storjuktan set of claims is about 25,000 hectares. And again, the NIPAS target represents only a small portion of that. We finished this year the rest of sampling, geochemical sampling on the entire property, thousands and thousands of samples. We're still awaiting results. And for the first time, we flew geophysics over the property. And that's currently, it's actually been completed and we're processing it. And that should be telling us a lot too, of where to look for targets. So that Storjuktan project is now coming into light. It's again, probably a season or two behind Paubäcken, but now you've got a another 20,000 hectares where maybe you already have one target ready for drilling and definitely worthy of diamond drilling, but maybe you generate two, three more on this huge land package, again, off the Gold Line belt. So definitely Nipis will be diamond drilled next year, but I think we're probably going to generate several other new targets to start looking at for late 25 and into 26. So the pipeline keeps getting filled up here.
Well, and Adam, maybe you could share with us, just for context for people listening in comparison to Barsele, which is more of a known entity but still growing and expanding, how big could Storjuktan or Paubäcken be based on the signature that you see? Could they be Barsele 2.0 or could they even be larger? I mean, how are you looking at these projects from a big picture sense?
Yeah, big picture, we see 2 to 3 Barceles on the belt. And obviously, that's a statement based on footprint size, geochemical alignment, all the anomalies and the concentration of the sampling. So, listen, we're following the exact same approach that everyone took with respect to Barsele. We're seeing the same sort of targets. You've got, I think, 2 or 3 massive targets there, and you still probably have 40 kilometers of the belt to continue to explore. I mean, we're just scratching the surface. I bet you we find another 2 or 3 targets this size. So again, not all of them are going to turn out to be Barsele. Maybe they're going to turn out to be bigger. I don't know. But you can't really talk too much about that or test that without capital and without a strategy. And I think we've done a good job sort of preserving capital, getting as much data as we can on these targets to hit it at the right time. And I think that's what we've done now. So listen, these targets are bigger in footprint size. They're on a belt that has only been explored for maybe 20, 25 years compared to some of these other belts around the world. You're using modern techniques, so we're a lot more efficient in delineating these targets. And we've got an incredibly capable technical team that's driven by discovery and has a lot of experience on these greenstone belts. So all the ingredients are there. Obviously, we hit on 1 or 2 of these things. It completely changes the perspective of our relationship with our partner. And again, you're not talking about one asset with one resource, growing that resource at depth. You're talking about 100 kilometers of belt, building a potential camp, developing this district and owning the entire thing. So these geological settings, they're not manufactured. They're not things you can create. This isn't sort of a Bitcoin that we've created and building a market around. These are things that happened millions and millions of years ago and take decades of work to sort of get in the right hands. And the fact that we've got 100% control of a 100-kilometer belt and a partner with the best mining company in the world in a wonderful jurisdiction. I mean, you just couldn't ask for a better opportunity as an explorer and developer.
Well, and Taj, let's bring one more in that's a newer target and project along this belt, and that's the Klippen Project. You put out some news in October, so about a month ago, talking about some earlier stage ground truthing. And this is a project we've not talked about, so yet another project that's showing potential. Give us what you know about the Klippen Project.
Yeah, the Klippen project is interesting, and the reason we don't necessarily talk about it a lot is it's a little bit off of the main gold line trend that we're on. So about 100 kilometers south of the Paubäcken southern boundary, you go down, still on these greenstones, you see them greenstones. We have this set of claims called the Klippen project. And there was historic work done by the other operators, both till sampling, a little bit of base of till drilling, and a few diamond drill holes, but nothing really systematic. And a lot of the historic work was interpreted to not have even tested the main source of the anomaly. But the anomaly is 5 kilometers gold in soil. It's about as obvious as you can get an anomaly. And we just said, listen, we have it here. We're 100% owners of this. Let's do a go or no go on this. Do a proper bot drilling program on the main core of it, which hasn't been done. And let's see if we move this forward to a diamond drilling stage. So we're currently bot drilling here. We started a few weeks ago. We're probably 75% of the way done. And things are looking very good and interesting. The till is actually very shallow here, so we've moved pretty quickly. And as a result of these kind of 7,500 bot holes, we'll be able to see where we want to diamond drill and if we want to diamond drill. And that's the approach we're taking throughout all this. Systematically move these to the next stage. And if they're not ready to be moved, you get rid of them and put the capital on something else. So Klippen looks extremely interesting. There's something there. Let's see if we can figure out what it is and how good it is.
Well, Taj, just a quick follow-up. You and Adam both mentioned the Greenstone belts, and I think people may be able to imagine a couple of the other Canadian Greenstone belts or some that are in other countries. I think there's some that are going through Europe as well. But could you maybe just speak to the significance of discoveries that tie into these Greenstone belts and why they're so prospective?
So these greenstone belts are well known in the worldwide for hosting these very high grade and deep gold deposits. The fluids from these are mantle driven. The rocks are very old, typically 2 billion plus years old. So some of the oldest rocks on Earth. And they go deep and deep and deep. In the Abitibi, these greenstone belt deposits can go 2, 3 kilometers. So decades long of production, with grade generally coming up as you go deeper towards the source. But I would say that the Gold Line belt is really interesting, and what really drew me to the opportunity is it's the last kind of greenstone belt that hasn't had modern systematic exploration done on it. The African belt that goes into South America, there's a lot of work done on it, continues to happen. The central Lapland belt in Finland, where you've got Ikkari and Kittila, that's been having work on it, continuing to go. And the Abitibi, we all know that, over 200 million ounces of production, Ontario and Quebec, and probably well over 100 million ounces of still in situ resources there. Yeah, these are monsters. And it was so interesting to see that you have this intact belt in Sweden that hadn't had work done on it. And how can you have 100 kilometers of greenstone belt? It's low probability that there's just one deposit sitting there of Barsele. So that's kind of our thesis, that there is other deposits here. They just need to be discovered and tested and delineated.
Well, Adam, wrap us up with the key catalyst you want people following along with as the news percolates throughout the end of this year and going into next year. We've talked about a lot of different projects in this one, but what are the catalysts you want investors' eyes focused on?
Okay, so obviously we've got ongoing exploration right now that will have results going into the end of the year and early next year. All of our bot drilling results we'll have to the market sometime between now and end of January. We have a NASDAQ listing in Sweden, which, as Sweden's largest gold deposit, undeveloped gold deposit, we've got ourselves a really big and meaningful and exciting story to be told in Sweden. So I think watch for that listing. You may see more about that before the end of the year. And really just being fully funded to drill up to 30,000 meters plus, and having warrants in the money, having a gold price that's kind of reset. I think we're in a really good spot for 2025 to hit the ground running with drilling, lots of results coming out, and the exciting new listing on the NASDAQ First North.
All right, gentlemen. Well, let's wrap it up there. But Taj, Adam, it was great having you on the call to give us an update on First Nordic Metals. And for those listening in, if you want to stay up to speed on the different news as it's released to the market, definitely click on the link below this interview. It takes you right over to the First Nordic Metals website, straight to their news section where you can sign up for updates and follow along with the news as it hits the wires. And gentlemen, keep us posted as more news comes out. We'll get you back on for an update, and looking forward to our next conversation.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.